Remember that intro where I said, don't get used to makeup because I can't do it, and I had senior pictures and stuff? Well, guess what, folks? I had senior session today, hence the outfit, and I did my own makeup. And hair. Jesus is real? Hello everyone, my name is Sydney, and as I said in the intro, I just got back from my senior session, which basically, maybe it's not a universal thing. When you're a senior in high school, you just dress up and take pictures and have like a last little high school portfolio of photos that, you know, describe yourself. I had the pleasure of getting mine done today, and I had a numerous amount of costume changes. I'm in the color guards, so I had one where I had my golden swing flags and I was spinning and taking pictures. I'll see if I can leave one right here if I haven't already. I also had one where I was in a purple high-low dress from Altered State, and I know what you're thinking, Altered State is expensive, but I am cheap. That is why I got it from the sale rack, $20. Not even joking you. And then, of course, I had this outfit. I suppose I should just model it for you. Because of this outfit I'm wearing right now, this is my little librarian nerd kind of outfit, because for my senior pictures, I was posed with all of the books that I thought made me into the reader and writer that I am now. And I am going to go through those books with you. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being patient with me. I know that me producing one video in 3 weeks, even though I'm on a one video a week kind of thing, is not so hot. I really appreciate y'all bearing with me. I'm really trying to come up with more content for you guys, so just stick around. I really hope that I'm going to get better at this, so just thank you for your patience and cooperation, and I love you guys. Here's the video. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the books that I believed made me into a reader-writer that I am now. As I said earlier, I'm super repetitive and don't have any notes to go off of. I'm literally improvising this thing. I'll probably go in order. They all have great significance, but least significance to most significance, which is going to be hard because I haven't pre-ordered them. All right, so just a little precursor before I hold up the first book. I realized that for my senior session, it was gonna be a little foggy. It started sprinkling during my shoot, so it wasn't gonna be bright and sunny, and I didn't want to get my dust jackets wet of my favorite books, you know? So last night in advance, I pulled out all the books that I thought had, you know, shaped me in a way, and I took their dust jackets off, figured out what colors they were. And because of my outfit, I don't know if adding a lot of actual hardback cover would be a good idea. So I decided to aim for only the ones that were black and white on the naked cover, and this is what we have. So in the pictures, you won't get to see the actual cover, and that's why. Also because black and white I thought looked more aesthetic, so shoot me. The first book I have is Restore Me by Taha Mafi, and thank goodness that it's now going to be nice on my face, because when I do this is what I want. This is why I need a ring light. Anyways, so I picked Restore Me. I did not really enjoy Restore Me as much as I did the other books, particularly Ignite Me, but this series was like an introduction to YA for me. You know, I was kind of a noob to the reading scene, sort of, when I picked up the Shatter Me series, and just the poetic style of the writing has shaped my writing, and also just the story was super enjoyable. I really enjoyed the series, but this was the only hardback I had of the Shatter Me series, and it was white, so it kind of fit perfectly. So I suppose that out of the ones that I'm going to show you after this is the one with the least significance, but it does have a lot of significance, so don't disregard this book because it's at the beginning. Ooh, the gross, super pale light is back, so we're quickly gonna hold up a book. My next choice is going to be The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This isn't making the light chill out. Anyways, so yes, I picked The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This has shaped my story writing and my reading taste, because holy moly do I love to read about some good old fae. Another book in particular got me super interested and actually plunged me into the fae scene, but this just like established it. It became concrete. I loved the plot twists in this. It was an enjoyable story. This is white on the inside. The naked cover of this is beautiful. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Now I kind of just want to hold it. There's the light. But The Cruel Prince was just absolutely phenomenal, and in my own story I am trying to, because of this book, incorporate more diverse characters because I like to write fantasy, and so just bringing in new races and creatures, it's nice and it's fresh, and you know, I'd have a bunch of basic humans walking around a fantasy story without this book. Okay, these books were really, really hard to put into an order. The next book I have up for you guys is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, and I know it looks super big. That's because this one is the life and death version. But yes, Twilight is on here. Mock me if you must. But in 6th grade, before I actually started becoming a reader, like hardcore, because some of the books you're about to see after this was in 7th grade when I really started to read. When I wasn't even a reader necessarily, I still didn't like reading. I picked up Twilight on my Kindle Fire in 6th grade, and I just had a freaking blast. Rapidly read all of the other books, watched all the movies. I like practically marathoned them, and I was 11 or 12. It just brings so many good memories. If I don't know what movie to watch, I'm either gonna pull up Mamma Mia 1 or 2, or I'm gonna pull up the Twilight series because I know the movies probably are kind of... I was gonna take a nap, but I decided to film a video for you guys. The movies are so corny sometimes, but wow, does it just make you feel upbeat? Even in the sad parts, you're just like, man, every time I read a snippet of Twilight, or I watch part of Twilight, or any of the other books in the series, I literally feel young. And I am young. But when I'm like 50, 60, whatever, if I even live that long, I'm gonna just pull up Twilight and pretend like my face isn't wrinkling or anything like that. Okay, top 3. Top 3 is very, very, very hard. I'm probably gonna regret this, but we're gonna do it. 3rd place, The One by Kiera Cass. Fight me, I know you are so tired of hearing me say, the selection series, the one, the elite, the ear, the crown. This book didn't give me unrealistic expectations of romance. It made me aware that no one is beyond romance. Even cheesy romance. Like, this is some kind of like royal bachelor kind of thing. But just the way that 2 of these characters interacted, and I mean, you already know, but you know, I'm gonna like spare anyone who hasn't somehow read this series. The way that these 2 particular characters interact with each other is just wonderful. My heart is so happy when I reread these series, because sometimes I do, because it doesn't take long to read this series, at least the first 3. I just get butterflies all over again. I smile. It's such a feel-good book, and I love it. The whole series is just feel-good, except for maybe like one part in the Elite and the very end of The One. But in 7th grade, this was the first series that I wanted to read. You know, because most books I had read were standalones, and then I was done and I would just get to tap out and go back to playing on my cell phone. But this made me want to put down the phone and actually keep buying more books. Like, the story was going to continue and I was going to be there for it. Also, like, can we talk about the fact that for sophomore career day, during our homecoming week, I wanted to be a writer, but not just any writer. I dressed up as Kiera Cass, signature big bow and all. She's just such an inspiration to me, and I owe a lot to her. So Kiera Cass, thank you. Just thank you. This is going to be hard. I'm going to hold this up as 2nd place, but I feel as though it should be 1st place. Should I tie them? Oh, I guess we're just gonna call this 2nd place and deal with the consequences after we edit. 2nd place, receiving the silver medal for significance in my life, is The Fault in Our Stars by Mr. John Green. Ooh, I'm legit second guessing myself. But you know what? We're gonna roll with it because I took more pictures with the 1st place book than I did with this. The Fault in Our Stars was a miracle worker. And I'm not just saying that because there was a miracle worker for Hazel's cancer in this book. I'm talking about 7th grade. I was gone. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't speak to anyone. I had therapy, and my therapist told me to keep a journal and then read it to her every time I would come back and see if it made me feel better. And it oftentimes did. And one day I left my journal on my desk when I had to go to the bathroom. I came back. A particular person had opened my journal and read it to the whole class when the teacher was not in the room and while I was gone. And so many people made fun of me because I was miserable. And when I started reading this book at first, I became fascinated with the concept of death. I was kind of interested in like the mechanics of it, like what would happen, all of that. But then the farther I read, I realized it wasn't about a girl who wanted to die, even though she could die at any second because she had cancer. It was a story about a girl who literally was hand in hand with death, but she took her hand away to put it in life. Augustus representing life at this point. My metaphor is probably whack. You know, she didn't want to think about dying anymore. She wanted to think about living and doing the things that she wanted to do with this one person. And it kind of made me think, why would I want to end my life and totally desert my possible person that I could have somewhere in the world? Why would I want to do that? The way he wrote kind of hit all of the buttons on my humor spectrum. And you know, at the time I didn't really laugh a lot. And this made me laugh. This made me sob too. It also made me realize that when someone dies, the pain doesn't go away. It just gets passed on to other people. And I think that's what really did it. I still had problems. This book didn't immediately cure me of what went on in my head, because sometimes I still get that. But I'm here. I'm here, aren't I? It did something. I'm not going to say this book saved my life, but I'm going to say that this book changed it. I can still read snippets of this like I was doing right before I turned on the camera. I was rereading chapter 20. If you haven't read this book yet, I want you to skip and go to this time. But I was rereading chapter 20 when she is doing the eulogy for Augustus before he dies. You know, Augustus Waters died 8 days later at Mercy. I read that, and for some reason I had this out-of-body experience. You know, my walls were pink. My hair was shorter. I had acne all over my face. I was sad. I was shorter. I was 14 again. It was weird, because then I blinked and I realized I had just like traveled back in time in a way. And isn't that what books are supposed to do? Make you feel like you're traveling in time. I know that it's a typical, maybe overhyped book, but it hit the nail on the head. It definitely shouldn't be second place, but what can I tell you? I'm gonna end up holding this next book first place, and everyone is going to be rolling their eyes at me. You probably already know if you know me well enough. My first place book is my favorite fiction book of all time, even more so than the classic that my channel is named after, and that is A Quart of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Are you surprised? Are you really, really surprised? Well, you shouldn't be. This series had everything. You're probably thinking, how can this beat Fault in Our Stars when it literally pulled you out of your depression? Here's the thing. This was like the absolute complete story for me. It had everything that I enjoyed. Fault in Our Stars had stuff that I enjoyed. It did. But I think Fault in Our Stars' purpose was more to heal me than it was to entertain me. Does that make sense? This flat out entertained me. This still makes me want to read. I sometimes have a competition with this book to see if something that I read can beat it, or at least tie it. Nothing has come up yet. Sarah J. Maas, you are a brilliant, brilliant piece of woman. She makes all these characters that are just immortal. But does she realize that because she's writing this kind of stuff and impacting this many people, like everywhere, she's making herself immortal? It's freaking wild how she does it. She's so creative. And if you're going to criticize me because this series book, her other series, is controversial or problematic, I need you to screw off for a little bit, because this is my joy. If you are a true reader and really want to care for those in the reading community, you don't bash people's interests. It may not be your taste. That's fine. That author just didn't write to affect you as much as they did other people. And this book truly, truly changed the game for me. I had no idea that one day when I went to my local Target to get some snacks for summer camp, I would just happen to stroll by the book section and pass by. ACOTAR and then see that this was out too now with a sticker that said brand new, 20% off. I hadn't even read the first one and I bought both. I read ACOTAR during a baseball game. Oops, I'm sorry, Texas Rangers, but y'all were losing. I had to entertain myself somehow. I read all of A Quart of Thorns and Roses at a Ranger game, and then I picked this one up and read it all throughout the week of a summer camp that I was counseling at whenever I had free time. You just never know when something is going to change your life, and this book changed it. When I write, I think, holy crap, I have to measure up to a book with this caliber of intensity and creativity and adventure. To so many people open a book, they just see white pages and black words inked into the pages. When I see this book, I see a whole world of color and stars and lights, beautiful people and laughter and vengeance and passion. And that's what the world is. Whenever I am not reading something, I will go back and pick this book up. If I could only save one book from a fire, it would be this book. No doubt in my mind about it. This default is going with me to college. I'm taking it to my house whenever I get married. I'm keeping it there. I will give it to my children when they're old enough. I can't part with this book. I can't. It's become a piece of me somehow. And in the age of technology, you don't see that a lot. You know, everyone's carrying their phone in their pocket. You know, I don't always carry this book around with me, but it's always up in here. It's always up in here. I could be sitting in class and I just think, Tamlin's a tool. That is all I have, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hate how white my face is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below so that I can make more videos for more people who watch. I hope this video was entertaining, or at least, you know, had fun watching me get all sentimental at parts. Once more, my name is Sydney. I'm supposed to be making new videos by every Thursday, and until next time, bye!